Brady, I showed LaVar the Colby Covington.
I'm jumping all over that tomorrow now. If y'all want to jump on it today, that would be wonderful, but I'm jumping all over that one.
Colby Covington.
No pun intended either.
Basically just lighting LeBron James on fire to open up a press conference as he gets ready for a fight this weekend that nobody thought was going to, nobody saw coming.
You got to ask yourself the question, why hasn't there been any real attention paid to the correlation between what he's been doing recently and what's been happening recently? There hasn't been a real media push to actually maybe delve into it, to actually maybe, ask that question, just to make sure you maybe separate yourself from what's going on, rather than it coming across as maybe perpetuating what could be assumed. Just saying. I don't know, man. I mean, he lit him up.
Unprovoked. Opened up his presser and just said, basically.
Did you hear the audio on it, Q?
What's that?
On Kobe.
Colby Covington lighting up LeBron James.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
that was a couple days ago, right?
What parts of it would you say was?
I just don't understand the motivation. Like, it was just came out of nowhere.
It did. I don't know. I don't either.
Should we play it?
I mean, I don't know what the motivation is either, but maybe the motivation is that.
How are you going to play it?
Well, Lee,
he cusses in it.
Lee, can we? What's the turnaround time on a? He opens up his. I sent you the link.
Not Lee Boy. Not Lee Boy.
Why not?
Turnaround times.
I don't know.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Lee, let's try and roll that in. There is some cursing in it.
Get a Lee Boy
for everybody who.
Lee Boy.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea.
Lee, make sure you include the follow up, the beginning of the follow up question from the media member who didn't know how to respond to how Kobe opened up the press conference. It's the best part.
He made it a point, and this is what I think. You asked what's the motivation. I would offer the fact that there are some people that are truly, truly passionate about first responders, and he made it a point to reference the whole idea of how LeBron had his approach towards the police departments.
Yeah, defund the police.
Yeah. And so. Some people really, really look at that as very not American. And so I would assume possibly that was the motivation behind his anger. But what it immediately made me think of, and I started to wonder, is there has to be someone who is going to talk to LeBron or ask LeBron about any connection to that situation.
No,
and
that
has not happened.
Not in LA.
I mean, let's be real about it. I mean, let's keep it 100 a buck from the hip. You're not seeing that on Sports Center. You're not seeing that on any of these news outlets
you won't.
where you're actually asking LeBron James, can you clear this up? Because as we get further down this rabbit hole, there is content, there are pictures, there are videos, there's sound bites. There are things that are surfacing that could actually lead to you being directly discussed and talked about in the circles of what was taking place with Diddy.
I mean, listen, if you asked him a difficult question after an NBA Finals game, he got up, grabbed his bag, and walked out and threw a tantrum. How do you think he's going to handle this?
Okay, so you throw a tantrum, you get up, you grab your bag, and you walk out. Does that do you any justice as it applies to there's still a lot of things that could kind of unfold and could surface from what's taking place with Diddy?
Okay, so are we doing this segment, LeBron? And just because if we're going to go into it, let's go into it. Because there's also some speculation of trade rumors, right? Like he could be traded to the Warriors. That's kind of been floating around out there. Now, I don't know if we need to acknowledge or justify those rumors. I personally look at it and go, hold on a second. So the guy who basically got the coach he wanted, who he formerly did a podcast with, and got the organization to draft his son.
Go ahead, talk about it.
Is going to up and just get traded? to the Warriors?
Dang.
Like, how does that make any sense? And if it does happen, then it calls into question. I mean, I don't want to get into the Steph Curry angle of things, but what is LeBron ultimately looking to do at this point in his career? And I think the simple answer would be, like, go to a better team and kind of chase championships at that point, right? I mean, again, here's the thing about the LeBron-Michael Jordan debate, or even Kobe, for people out there who are Kobe fans and aren't LeBron fans, is you've already got your feet dug in. Like, there's nothing that's going to change your opinion one way or another. Like, young cats and a lot of people who side to the LeBron James, the greatest ever, will use this statistical argument when he's played for, a long, long time. Most people who say Jordan, they're simply like, we don't need stats because we watched it. Like, we watched his greatness, we watched him play, and you're not going to convince me otherwise. There's a gap in there too, so it took away from the stats. The game has changed. That changes a lot too in regards to how the stats are looked at. At least that's how I feel. So I guess I just look at it and go, like, what is the point of it if he did all this for the Lakers and then is somehow behind the scenes trying to orchestrate a trade out just to go chase some more rings or be in a better situation than what the Lakers are at this point?
I mean, don't you just feel like the timing is just really, really, it's just really peculiar timing.
Well, especially after you just basically worked the organization into drafting your son, and then you're just going to bail. Although I think Bronny did score 30 points in the Z League or whatever it's called last night. So there is that. All right.
Why do you do that?
Do what?
You know it's called the G
I
League.
misspoke. Come on. It happens from time to time.
That's not true.
Here was so for people that
so bad.
The Z League.
You think it's funny? Like,
It's
no
not.
one thinks it's funny.
It's
no
not.
One,
It's
and here's
not
the thing
funny.
is and then someone hits us up on social media like, "Oh, Jonas doesn't even know what basketball league is the minor league for them."
I don't care what they say. Who cares? What
I
they
know
say?
you don't care. I'm just saying it just there's no point. It's a terrible joke.
All right, so here's Colby Covington. He is a UFC fighter, a very good UFC fighter. He's got a fight coming up this weekend.
He's an awesome dude.
They
man.
do these media calls in which fighters sit down and they'll answer a bunch of questions. And this is how the press conference started out for Colby Covington this week.
I want to ask LeBron, what does he mean by there's no party like a Diddy party? I truly want to know. And not only that, LeBron, how many Diddy parties have you actually been to? I'm really curious to know. And is that the reason you left social media? Because all the backlash you were getting for going to so many Diddy parties? It's just pathetic, man. People think this guy's a role model. He wants to defund the police, the most patriot people of America serving and protecting our country. LeBron, you're a scumbag, and I hope you get locked up in the same cell with Diddy.
Well, Colby, nice to see you again.
Wow.
Well, there you go. I just think I had a few things I needed to get off my chest.
Like, what do you think he was doing? Scrolling through social media and that just popped up and he just was triggered?
It might have. I think that was calculated.
Well, okay.
I think he was calculated in doing that.
Here's the book on Colby Covington. When he was fighting early in his UFC career, a lot of people labeled him as a quote-unquote boring fighter. He needed to do something. He felt like he needed to do something before he was going to get released by the organization to try and build his brand. So he took on this approach to where he was going to go after everybody. He was going to be support, Donald Trump, all of that stuff, and went all in. And a lot of people have said, well, listen, he's not really like that. This is a character. But the LeBron stuff has been going on for a long-ass time. Like, he has gone on after LeBron several times, whether it's pre-fight, post-fight, you name it. And so when he saw the opportunity now, because he hasn't fought in a little while, to just open it up, he knew the media wasn't going to ask him any questions about LeBron. So he just decided, all right, I'll take it upon myself, and just went scorched earth on him the entire time. And this is what he's done for a couple of years now, except this time he does ask maybe a couple of fair questions.
Those are, I mean, for what it's worth, they are fair questions that we have not heard being asked.
And
that's for one. For two, understanding your audience. They say understand the audience, like read the room, understand your audience. Well, you know what? If you understand UFC culture, he understands his audience, because that's a very, very patriotic fan base that is connected to the UFC fight game, to the sports industry. So to our culture in general, it's a patriotic fan base. So anyway, I just what's more interesting to me is he could come across any way he wanted to in that whatever it is, his rant that he presented and offered, non-solicited in his interview. But I feel like the bigger question that comes from it is, did you not think that? Did who when LeBron James said, I'm leaving social media for a while, when LeBron James, kind of was connected to the Diddy parties, the P. Diddy period, with what was being pushed out there, I mean, did no one not get curious about it? And what is media about?
Can I tell you what my initial thought was? I thought he, like others, were pouting about the election. And he was like, this is going to be my stance. I don't want to deal with this, and make up some, cockamamie excuse as to why. I didn't even think about that aspect of it.
I mean, I did.
I did. Coming out.
I mean, bro, if you're paying attention, the content that was coming out, like, did you see the photo of him in the maid outfit?
Yeah, but is that real?
I don't know. But why not ask the question? That's what I'm saying.
Can we go to our photos of professional athletes in maid gear, expert lead a lap? Lee, is that photo real of LeBron James?
Yeah, LeBron is a maid. Is that real? Have you seen that, Lee?
I have not seen this photo.
We come to you on these matters of authority.
I mean,
isn't it worth? I mean, all I'm saying
is, can we get a verdict, Lee?
I don't think so.
Hey, listen,
I'm pulling it up now.
Oscar De La Hoya did it and confirmed that it was true.
And told Shannon on Club Shay Shay, what man hasn't dressed up in women's clothing, in the comforts and confines of their own home?
That's an interesting guy to ask.
He told that to Shannon Sharp on the show.
No, this is
the
fake.
one you want to ask.
This is not real.
Dude.
It's been debunked. Everyone's
all I know is you can't debunk that video of him saying I did not like a Diddy party. So whatever it is that resonates from it, why not have the conversation? Isn't that what media is about? Asking questions about things that are connected to, especially mega juggernaut athletes such as a LeBron James?
First of all, none of the kiss asses at ESPN are going to ask the question, and nobody here locally is going to ask the question. It's not happening. They've got too much invested. I'd also say
do you think they tell them? Do you think they pre-warn them to not? These are the questions you are totally not to ask and bring up in a LeBron James 100% conversation.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. I'm actually reading a Snopes article on this now. You can see it in the hands. The hands are.
I was going to say the same thing. Those are not his hands.
Okay,
those are not his hands.
All right, so that one night he didn't dress as a maid. All right, exonerated.
In LeBron's defense, by the way, there is going to be so much stuff AI can do.
Oh,
that's kind of scary.
Yeah, easily.
Like, it's going to be. I mean, Lee's going to have a really tough job trying to determine whether these things are real.
Easily.
Now that we've ordained you as the official. In determining these matters.
Well, you've ordained them. I'm not.
Well,
I'm not dying on that hill.
I mean, someone has to.
Yeah. Well,
I feel like there needs to be a level
tracker,
of authority,
and tracker,
and it needs to come from lead a lap.
Hey, in fairness of NFL media, they did ask Roger Goodell. They said, hey, what are your thoughts on the Jay-Z stuff that's come out? Because Jay-Z's company, Rock Nation, does the Super Bowl
talent.
Show.
Yeah, that is true.
And Roger Goodell just said, yeah, we know there's a civil suit, and we have no plans at this time to make any changes to that.
And let's be clear. If that were a player, if that were a coach, if that were a GM, what would happen? If it were an owner, what would happen? I mean, these are questions that should be asked. It's a publicly consumed product. And I think we all know if it was a player, I think we all know if there was a civil suit that came out on a player to this topic of conversation, I think we all know what would happen. I don't know how far up the ladder it goes where you'd say that the end result is not the same, but it's possible by organization, a GM, a CEO, a president, a head of this, whatever it may be, they could have the same type of consequences as a player would.
And people think we don't talk NBA on this show.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this is.
Hey, who won the? Is that in-league tournament thing still happening?
Yeah, I think so.
That's
I
funny.
think they're on their way to.
I mean, I'll be honest with you.
Atlanta's going to LA.
No lie. Last night I was watching ND's women's basketball team versus UConn, which, by the way, great win for the Irish. I would rather watch that than
Oh,
I'm just being honest. Like, I found it more entertaining watching Hannah Hidalgo, Olivia Miles, Paige Becker is more entertaining than a regular season NBA
With
game.
that being said, Caitlin Clark made headlines not too long ago too. But I mean, I'm just saying we stay away from it. But it's just some interesting things going on, I guess, in the round ball world.
I mean, if you've seen any of the NBA this year, it's pretty obvious that it's the Celtics and then everybody else. It's not really.
They are pretty good.
There's not.
It's so weird too. Hey, Jonas, what team did you root for growing up?
Well, I'm not really much of an NBA guy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but if you had to pick a team, like, would it be the Boston Celtics?
I would say
Probably the Bulls.
Just because of my Irish roots, I would say the Boston Celtics. That
wow.
time in Dublin we spent really did wonders for me,
Wow.
to be honest with you.
That's interesting.
Your Irish roots, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'm Irish.
I think so.
Gotcha.
I believe so.
Okay.
Who knows?
I wish people could understand the level of like front running that Jonas has done throughout his life, and I get it. I get it. He's a sports fan. He likes all these teams that were really, really good when he was young, with the exception of the Cubs. Like, that's the one spot where I do have a compassionate spot for you, even though they have won recently.
God.
There are a lot of sports people out there that are like that, though. I will say that. I find it to be like, I find it to be like the most interesting phenomenon when you're like walking in the airport or you're in a public place that you always happen to talk to people who are from where the Super Bowl team, like they're playing in the Super Bowl. I'm from there.
I was raised a contrarian.
Or
I'm
I'm a fan of that team every single year. When I was playing more so, I paid attention to it. Like, you be going to the Pro Bowl or you be going to the Super Bowl or going to some type of event and you're in the airport and you talk to people and they're like, yeah, I'm from New England. I'm from Boston. Right. And they're in the Super Bowl. Like, yeah, you're not from New England.
I still think the dopest thing about flying through Logan, the airport in Boston, is all the banners they hang, dude. That is the biggest flex of any airport in any city to me in this country. It is. I get chills looking up at it. I'm like, that goes strong, man. Like, that's a reminder. Like, you got that 6 a.m. flight. You're getting up there, get through security. You look up. You're like, damn. And by the way, for those at home who don't know, 16 NBA championships the Boston Celtics have won. It's the most of any franchise,
18.
and obviously the most recent in 2024. So don't let Jonas
18.
try to distract you.
It's 18. It's now 18.
I'm seeing 16, pal.
No, 18. Come on.
Okay, I'm just telling you what the internet's telling me.
The Lakers used the bubble to count as a tie at 17, and the Celtics won 18 last year. So, but
This is
again,
weird. Why is it telling me 16?
I don't know. It's probably Wikipedia. They give out bad information. 'Tis the season. If you go look up anything on Wikipedia, they're asking for money. So, have fun with that. But it is two pros and
they
a cup of
literally left
Joe
out
here.
2 years on this.
Yeah.
Is that Wikipedia's fault? God, no wonder they keep hitting me up about funding.
Yeah, whoever. It's like, hey, donate to $3 to keep
they're
us
like,
going.
We don't want to go private. I'm like, yeah, you guys need help. Man.
Hey, can we get
Yeah,
$2?
I need to go donate.
They haven't had anybody on payroll to update it for 2
This
years.
is my main source of information. What's happening?
For an extra $1.75, we'll have the correct information for you if you could just chip in at some point during the end before the end of the year.
Chat GPT isn't free anymore, right? You got to pay for that now.
Oh no,
I think so. Everybody's going to pay now.
Right.
What happened to free? I loved it when it was free.